Hello, welcome to Moist Nougat. I am the kid. I took a couple weeks off to recover from the holidays. Really, that's just my excuse. I wasn't planning on taking any time off. This is actually the third time I've recorded this episode. I scrapped the first one because it just wasn't what I wanted it to be, and I was unprepared. And I did it again last week. The day before I would generally post the podcast, so Wednesday night, and I just didn't feel like fucking editing and all that shit. And I was just like, I guess I actually needed a couple episodes off or a couple weeks off, whatever you want to call it. There was nothing wrong with the last episode, and I could have held it and just posted it this week and got one ahead, I guess. But some of the stuff I talked about this far into the new year, which is, we're not very far into the new year. It's the 6th. But it felt a little irrelevant to post on the 11th. So I condensed what I was talking about in the last try. But basically, got all the decorations down, all the Christmas decorations down, and I think part of like not wanting to edit and taking a couple weeks off is like, I think a lot of people get the post Christmas blues. I know I always kind of do. Not like, deep, dark, just kind of like, like not ready to start the new year and be productive and ate too much crap over the holidays and all that good stuff. But anyways, yeah, I think I'm kind of over that a little bit now, or for the most part now, I guess. New intro, if you noticed. The other one was, getting a little stale. Not that it was anything super terrific or anything. My goal is to eventually compose my own intro and not just like make an intro with, like I compose that, I guess. It's a program where I can just loop shit together and it takes a little bit of talent, I guess, but to put things in the right spot here and there. But the old intro, outro, I've been using that one since episode 48. So we use that one, or I use that one for 77 episodes, almost 2 years. This month, actually, the 22nd would have been the 2 years. So a couple weeks short of, or a week and a half short of 2 years, but 2 years. Got a softbox light for Christmas. And you can't see it, obviously. And if you don't watch the video version of the podcast, then you won't notice any different. I'm hoping that it's different. I feel like it's different. I said I've shot this episode twice, or recorded this episode twice, and I feel like the light made a huge difference, because the other lights I was using just were not the right kind of light. So I still have the dilemma of, like, I want to wear my glasses so I can like see away, like see the camera, make sure it's still recording and all that. But then I can't see any of the, scribble that I have down here. And so I'm constantly taking them on and off, and it's an old person problem, I guess, or I don't know if it's what is it nearsighted, or I can see up close, and if you're farsighted, you can see away, but you can't see up close, or is it vice versa? I don't know, because sometimes those things you think, like, yeah, I'm nearsighted, I can see near, I just can't see far, and then somebody would say, I'm farsighted, I can see far, but I just can't see near, but when you get like doctors and scientists involved, they make things more difficult than it needs to be. So it could be the exact opposite. I'm nearsighted, which means I can see far away, or I'm farsighted, which means I can see close up, which doesn't make any fucking sense, right? Are we in agreement? I feel like we are. But yeah, the new softbox light, pretty cool. Tune it in, maybe. I can't do. I mean, I do have another light off to the side, just because they say you need like a backlight or whatever. I have the on-air sign, but I'm so close to the wall that there's no depth, so I can't set it up like some people you see have these, cool, like they're 6 feet away from the wall and they got or 10 feet away or 20 feet away, whatever, and they've got a cool light in the background or a lamp or something, and it just lights up. Anything I put too bright back here just kind of washes everything. So the on-air sign is my backlight, and then I have I don't know, whatever you call the light off to the side. It's supposed to be kind of behind me. Hair light, I guess, is what they call it. And then you got your your key light, which is the softbox light. I feel like I don't even need the light over here. I don't know if it's making any difference. I've got it fairly dim. Anyways, nobody really cares because this is a podcast and not, I'm talking about visual shit. Mom and Dan Lee headed back to Florida. Actually, they headed back 2 days after Christmas, so they didn't stay quite as long as I had hoped, and enjoyed the time I got to spend with them, but it wasn't enough. They got their camper down there. They are, they decided that that's where they wanted to be. So they are in Florida. And like I said, when Dan Lee was on, we were talking about he's working at a different campground down there. He's, holy shit, I feel like I'm going to sneeze. Pardon me, I'm sorry. Allergies, believe it or not, in January, they're still kicking my ass. It's pretty much year round. But yeah, they're down in Florida and working on getting the camper set up down there. They've had some rain down there, so they haven't been able to get the hot water on and all that good stuff. So they're not. I think they're still staying with Carry the Bully for the time being, but once it dries out a little bit and they can get their hot water and a few other things working, they'll be staying at their new campground, the one that Dan Lee's working at. The first try of episode 126, which is what I'm doing now, was on my birthday, December 30th, night before New Year's Eve. I turned fucking 55, and it's kind of what threw me off, because I was like, oh, there's got to be some perks and shit I can talk about it, about actually turning 55. There are no perks. There literally, other than like signing up and paying the annual fee for AARP, and getting your 10% discount at Cracker Barrel or whatever. I mean, that's basically all there is to turning 55. 65 in North Carolina, I could get 6 hours of free college per semester. And it's a damn shame it's not 55, because at 65, I mean, fuck. 55, I'd be taking photography classes or audio engineering or something that pertained to lighting, something that could help me, progress in this. But yeah, not a whole lot of perks at turning 55. Certainly not physically. Because that's the thing. Mentally, I don't feel like I'm 55 years old. I feel like I'm, in my 30s. I still feel like, the sky's the limit. I can, it's like, no, you're on the other side of the hill. You're on the downside of the hill. Now, I hate to say that. I don't want to be all downer about, getting old, but physically, I'm dealing with some challenges the last year or two that when I was in my 30s, it never even dawned on me that, my hip would hurt or my back would hurt or my scalp would itch or, a bunion on my right foot or, I mean, just so many damn different things as you get older that you have to deal with that I don't think younger people realize. And, you don't listen to older people when you're that age. You don't, whatever, they're just bitching. Well, they've got reasons to bitch. But like I said, this stuff isn't just for young people. It's not TikTok and YouTube and podcasting, and it's not just for young people. It's for everybody. And it's so easy just to move on from something that you don't want to watch or you don't want to listen to. Just move on. I mean, I probably have 80,000 times the people that move on from me than the ones that stick around. Really, I don't even know who's listening to the podcast or watching the videos anymore. I have a small number of people, but I don't know if the people that were watching it, when you get 125, 126 episodes in, people get tired of it. And especially when it went from Dana Lee and I to Dana Lee, Marnie and I to Dana Lee and I for one more episode and then just me. So you're just getting me. And I'm probably the least entertaining out of the three of us. I'm in talks with another person. We'll see if it happens. I'm hoping that I can add a co-host and turn this thing up in 2024. But I wanted to say that I want to move on from being 55 and being old and that. I did not make New Year's resolutions this year, but there are a few things I would like to do. I know that a couple of years back, Dana Lee and I did our top 5 New Year's resolutions, and I don't think any of them happened for me. I know one of them was quitting smoking, and that didn't happen. And so that is one of the things I'd like to do is I'd like to quit smoking. For a couple of different reasons, health reasons, obviously. It's it's not great for my health. But honestly, at this point, I'm like I said, I'm 55. So now it's all going to be about old shit now. I'm 55. I actually enjoy having a cigarette. Enjoy having a cigarette with a cup of coffee in the morning. I enjoy having a cigarette with a beer. Don't smoke in the house. Haven't smoked in the house, and I don't know. I can't remember the last time I smoked a cigarette in a house. You brave the cold. You go out. You have a cigarette. You power smoke. But money is almost more important than my health at this point. It's not more important than my health, but cigarettes are just expensive, and my wife smokes as well, but she smokes about half of what I smoke. So, but if we could just quit smoking and put that money aside for 6 months, just say this is what I spent on cigarettes for 6 months. For the next 6 months, now that I've quit, we're just going to put this in a slush fund for 6 months, and guarantee we could probably fucking go on a decent vacation or something like that. But yeah, I like I said, I enjoy smoking generally. Sometimes it's you wake up and you have a cough or something, you're like, but it's the fucking money at this point in time for the main reason, because I'm not going to be around that many more years, and it's like I'm not going to give up everything that I'm not giving up pizza, cigarettes, beer, not giving it all up, because otherwise, what's the fucking point, man? I'm going to, live to be, 95, but the last 40 years of my life sucked because I didn't do anything fun or anything I enjoyed. That's not how I'm going out. But anyways, another thing I want to do is start playing my drums again. Number one, like I miss playing. Like I said, I'm not a spring chicken anymore. And with the hip and all this, it's not as easy to sit down and play for an hour as it used to be. But I really want to start playing again. I need to get inspired. Like a new shell pack or something would be awesome. I love my PDPs, but just a new shell pack, different color, shiny, brand new, would be inspiring. But I did get some cymbal cleaner for Christmas. I asked for some cymbal cleaner and I got it. So I'm going to clean a couple of my dirty ass cymbals, and hopefully that'll give me some inspiration to start hitting the skins again. And also, it's good exercise. It really is. And I need the exercise. And I guess you could say it's fairly low. Well, I don't know if it's low. I don't know if it's considered low impact or not. Because it's, it's a physical instrument to play. But anyways, another thing I'd like to do this year is get better at this. When I say get better at this, I'm doing the best I can. But I need to get better at I need to find my niche, or I need to find the co-host that fits, and just get better at the podcasting stuff. I feel like I'm pretty good at editing, and I'm all the behind the scenes stuff, other than coming up with brilliant ideas to talk about. I'm pretty good at all the other stuff. I think it's just, like I said, it's just finding the right fit, finding the niche. Because, I mean, obviously, this podcast is more of a conversation podcast. It's not a, you know, like Dan Lee and I could have went on and on about drums, but we'd be talking about the same old shit, but it wouldn't be any of the new stuff that's coming out because we're both, we're out of the game. And I'm just playing my old stuff. I'm not, testing out any of the new stuff that's coming out and trying new things and all that. So, and I don't go to the movie, I don't watch 1,000 movies and so I can't do a movie podcast. And the True Crime podcast, like, as great as they are, it's a flooded market. And it also, the people that are really good at it, I mean, it's it's basically a full-time job. If you're going to go, like, do investigative type shit for your podcast, you're spending some serious time. I don't have the finances or the time I guess I got the time, but I don't have the finances or really it's just really not my niche. My God, how many people have tuned out by this point in time? I used to listen to podcasts all the time. I had, 5 or 6 different podcasts I pretty much faithfully listened to. I haven't listened to a podcast in quite some time. I've checked out a few and listened to some of it. But I just feel like, I'm always editing or listening back or to my own podcasts, and sometimes I just want to tune out and I don't want to think podcast or that kind of thing. But yeah, that's it. That's all I got for this year. I mean, there's other things, little things. I wasn't going to name off every single thing that I wanted to happen this year. And like I said, they're not resolutions. They're like, I was watching the news this morning when I got up, and they had a woman on. I missed most of the conversation, but I heard her say she didn't do resolutions. She made choices, which I thought was kind of interesting. That she doesn't do resolutions because then it's a pressure situation where, like, oh, I said I was gonna, do this, and now, where she said I make choices, and once I make the choice, that's the choice. So I like that line of thinking. I'm making the choice to quit smoking. It's not like I want to quit smoking. I'm making the choice to quit smoking. I'm hoping that I bought my last carton of cigarettes the other day, and I'm going to be done with it. And I'm going to be quite the prick for a while, I'm sure. But I know one thing. I got the slippers I have on, because it's been a rainy, lazy day here. So I didn't get dressed up or anything for this podcast. But I got these slippers. I believe I got them last year for Christmas. Maybe I got them the year before. I think I got them the year before, actually. But I had just bought a pair of slippers, so I wore out the slippers that I had before I started wearing these. I was like, I'll just wear these slippers out until, they're done, and I'll throw them away, and I'll get the new ones out. And that's what I did. And I don't wear them barefoot or anything. I'm not a barefoot wearing shoes barefoot or anything barefoot, but these fucking things stink. I mean, I can smell them sitting here right now, and I'm glad that you can't. I ordered a new pair from Amazon. My wife ordered a pair as well. I said, I'm ordering some fucking slippers. Do you want some slippers? And she goes through slippers like most people go through chewing gum, because she has MS and her right foot drags. So if she could find somebody that has MS that has a left foot drag and they were the same shoe size, we'd be golden, because they could just buy shoes and then they'd swap out, because her right foot shoe wears out way quicker than her left shoe does, and it would be opposite for the other person. I know I'm looking on the bright side of things. Come on, it's 2024. It's a new year. Let's look on the bright side of things. But anyways, my slippers fucking stink. My new ones are supposed to be here tomorrow. So hopefully they get here and I can throw these ones in the trash and hopefully get at least a year without having stinky feet. So anyways, so enough about my smelly feet. Hopefully my new moccasins get here tomorrow. Yes, moccasins. I misspoke earlier, and my wife thought it was the most hilarious thing. Moccasins. I bought moccasin style slippers. Indoor, outdoor. Because I wear mine outdoors a lot, taking a bag of garbage or, whatever. Somehow I fucked this mic all up. I don't know how I did it, but yeah. Moving on. And I'm sorry, but yes, I'm going to get into some football shit. It is the last week of regular season football. Actually, the Steelers and Ravens are playing right now, and I think Houston and somebody plays later. And then tomorrow, the rest of the teams play. Of course, the Packers and the Broncos. And the Broncos blew it. They lost like 3 out of 4 games. They actually could have ended up winning the division, but they just blew it. And with 2 weeks to go, which was last week, the Broncos benched Russell Wilson. And I know a lot of people were shitting on Russell Wilson after the year he had last year, because he was a shell of himself last year. He was. I mean, I watched the guy play. I watched him beat the Broncos a couple of times and just look phenomenal, and like he made shit happen. He had a better year this year, no doubt. But people were on his ass all year long. He's a game manager now. He's only passing for 200 yards, and he's making a play here and there. Yeah, you're right. And we were winning games by the skin of our teeth. When we went on that tear. But I was never confident. Even when we, 3 wins in a row, 4 wins in a row, I still wasn't confident, because there was something that was missing. The chemistry just isn't there with Sean Payton, our coach, who was I also not a big fan of hiring. $20 million, but it's just there's something missing. It's just flat. Even when we were winning games, it's just flat. And I know Russell Wilson, he seems like he's a really good guy and all that, but like when it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But there's a whole lot of fallout coming from the fact that we benched him. And the reason we benched him is because there's an injury clause in his contract that if he gets hurt and can't pass a physical next year, and obviously we're moving on from him. I mean, we wouldn't have benched him if we weren't moving on. Or we're moving on from Sean Payton, one or the other. I don't know. But I highly doubt that. But if he got hurt and couldn't play next year, we'd have to pay him $37 million. So we sat him. Of course, you can't say that's the reason you sat him, because I guess that's against the fucking rules in the NFL with the Players Association, this and that. Who knows? But so if we win tomorrow, we'll have our first winning season at 9-8. So not a great season, but a winning season nonetheless. Our first one in 8 years. So I'll be happy. Well, that's all I wanted this year. I was hoping it was going to be a little better than just one game over 500, but and it looked like we were headed that way until we went on the, losing 3 out of 4 and taking ourselves right out of even getting into the play. I mean, there was at one point, if we would have won 2 of those games, we might have been in contention to win the division. But it is what it is. Anyways, so this is another season, an off season, where I get to listen to everybody bitch about how the Broncos fucked up. And this is the worst trade in the history of NFL and this and that. And all the talking heads that, have their shows every week that were shitting on Russell Wilson. And then we bench him, and all of a sudden now they're like, his best friend going to bat for him. Anyways, it is what it is. I wasn't a big fan of the trade for Russell Wilson, and then when we, our GM's going to get fired. So they're just, we bring him in, he doesn't even play a game, and they extend his contract. So like a $250 million contract, and the guy hadn't even fucking, basically hadn't even put on an orange hat yet. But that's pro sports for you, know. But anyways, so I'm gonna get to read these articles all year long, and sit them. We don't have any money to move around and get anybody, or it is what it is. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. But the bigger thing for me is, because it's another lost season. We didn't play great, and it is what it is. So we go on to next year. But here's the thing with next year. I'm not paying for Sunday Ticket next year. I'm not paying for YouTube TV next year. I'm not paying all this shit. I mean, it shouldn't be this hard for somebody to afford and be able to watch football. It shouldn't be. It's stupid. Sports in general, really, anymore. I mean, you can't even watch a hockey game unless you have ESPN Plus, and TNT, and 6 other channels. But football is way more popular than hockey. I love hockey, but the way it used to be is when you turned on your TV, you had ABC. And this is probably with rabbit ears or an antenna or whatever. You turn on the TV, you had ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox. Whatever game was on, it was the game you watched. I mean, I've been a Broncos fan since way back. And living on the East Coast, you don't get a lot of Broncos games. I mean, you got more when they were in the, when Elway was there, when they were winning a lot of games and stuff, there was definitely more games on than there are now locally. And I also lived near Charlotte. Stone's throw from Charlotte. So the Panthers are always going to be on number 1 over any other team, which is, that's how it is in any city. Home team's going to get televised. But when Sunday Ticket first came along, well, I mean, let me back up for a second. I used to try to find games on AM radio. I remember my cousin Tim and I listening to we found a Cleveland station on AM radio when we were, working. We had it on the radio, and the Broncos were playing Cleveland in Cleveland or whatever, and we found a state, and we were listening to it on the radio. I mean, because that's how we had to watch games. I mean, the Broncos were on Monday night or something like that. It was great because all we had to do was make sure we had, you know, whatever it was, ABC Monday Night Football. We just had to make sure that we had the antenna turned the right way to get that fucking channel. But then Sunday Ticket came around with DirecTV, and it was a godsend for me because I immediately signed up because I could watch all the Broncos games. I was, and back then when it first came out, it was, $100 or $125. I can't remember the actual price. It might have been $200. But it stayed that way for a long time. The price did. It didn't really change every year. And back then you had games on Sunday and you had a Monday night game. There was no Sunday night football. There was no 2 games on Monday night. There was no Thursday night football. There was no NFL Network. They've diluted the game to a point because the whole thing is you looked forward to Sundays. Because, that was the day. Football's on Sunday. We're going to watch football all day on Sundays. But basically from 1 to, 7 or 7:30, and then it was over because there was no Sunday night football. But then they added Sunday night football. And of course, there was the Monday night game, which was a big deal. Monday night football was a huge deal back then. But then they added, the Sunday night game and the Thursday night game, and it's like, what do I have to look forward to now? Because it's like football, 3 or 4 days a week. It's like Sundays don't mean quite as much because the game I really want to see is Sunday night. So maybe I'm not going to watch games on how many hours you're supposed to spend watching football? If you love football, well, you watch all the games. But because you watch all the games, then you have to watch all the fucking commercials. Which got to a point where it was ridiculous, and then the NFL came out and said, well, we're going to stop going away from, this or that. And now they do the side-by-side, this year, then COVID hit, and then when it came back, it was like everything was out the window. It's like, fuck you. We're going to have as many commercials as we possibly can have. And they do. It's just a player gets hurt, they almost immediately go to commercial. They come back from commercial. They're getting ready to snap the football. We don't even know who got hurt, how they got hurt, what the extent of the injury is, anything. Nothing. Timeout. They go immediately to, commercial. They can't get enough commercials in. It's just money, greed. It's disgusting is what it is. But anybody that watches football now knows that YouTube TV got the rights to Sunday Ticket this year. They paid $14 billion for 7-year contract. $14 billion. Wrap your head around that. $14 billion. Okay. Last year, my wife and I didn't have Sunday Ticket. We didn't have an option for Sunday Ticket last year. So we got the NFL app or whatever, and we could watch some live games. And of course, with rabbit ears or local stations, we could watch the games that were aired locally. But we couldn't necessarily watch our teams. But with the app, we could watch the games after the game happened. We could watch a replay of the game, and a lot of times without commercials. If you waited long enough, you could watch it without commercials. So it was basic, but it takes a little bit of the oomph out of it, the game already happened. You're watching a replay of the game. Even if you don't know the score or who won, still takes a little bit of a I don't know. I like watching the game live while it's happening, but next year I won't pay this kind of money. I got Sunday Ticket with DirecTV this year, or not DirecTV, YouTube TV, and you could get it without having YouTube TV. You could just buy it standalone. Problem with buying it standalone is you still need all your local channels. So, yeah, you can use an antenna or rabbit ears or whatever. But you also need the NFL Network and ESPN, which you can't get either one of those with rabbit ears. And Amazon Prime you still need for Thursday Night Football. So most people at this point have Amazon Prime just for shipping, the free shipping and all that. But the greed even comes deeper this year because Peacock TV, which is an NBC deal, had a Peacock exclusive game, and it was the Bills and somebody. And if you didn't have Peacock, it didn't matter whether you had NBC. You're already paying $80 a month for YouTube TV, and you got NBC on YouTube TV. Well, no, that doesn't count. You got to have Peacock. You got to have Peacock, which is, $12 a month or whatever. I wanted to watch a game, so I went ahead and I used to have Peacock, and I checked to see if you could get a free version of it, because when they first came out, you could get a free version, but it was all with ads. Of course, the football game's going to have ads anyways. They don't have a free version anymore. You have to pay, $5.99, and you still have to watch commercials, or $11.99, and you can get it without commercials. Not, like I said, not live TV, not like a football game or anything. But anyways, so I got Peacock back because at the end of the football season, I'm going to drop YouTube TV because I don't fucking watch it, because I can't stand watching commercials. I just don't know when exactly I'm going to drop it, because the playoffs are all like, they won't tell you who's airing any of it. So it might be on ESPN, it might be on NFL Network, it might be on Prime, might be on Peacock. But the thing of it is, with the Peacock doing this, now they're doing the Wild Card Weekend, they're doing a Peacock exclusive. So if you want to watch that game, you got to sign up for Peacock. And they're the guinea pigs in this whole thing, because if it works, then you're going to see Paramount do it, CBS. You're going to see ESPN do it with ESPN Plus, because ESPN Plus is already doing it. And it's just the amount of greed, and I don't give a fuck about the people that love the game, is just so over the top. It's ridiculous. I don't know how much money the NFL expects us, or any of the sports expects us to pay, and how many apps we're supposed to pay for just to watch the team you like or the game you like. It's ridiculous. I mean, like I said, wrap your head around it. $2 billion a year. $2 billion, not million, not billion dollars. $2 billion a year for YouTube TV to have NFL Sunday Ticket. And the thing of it is, I have Sunday Ticket, so I should be able to watch any game on Sunday Ticket that I want to watch. Doesn't matter whether it's locally televised, doesn't matter whether it's ESPN or Amazon Prime. I'm paying $300 and some odd a year. I should be able to watch whatever game. Doesn't matter whether I have Peacock or Prime or Paramount or ESPN or whatever. But that's not how it works, because these people are basically, it's just like our government works. They're a bunch of greedy fucking pricks, and they don't give a shit about us. All they give a shit about is making fucking money. And I won't go on and on. I'm actually working myself into a froth. So, and I'll end it with something non-NFL related. And I don't even know if I got out of to all the NFL stuff I want to talk about, but it is what it is. I went to the bank a few days back. I had sold some stuff over just before Thanksgiving, and I met up with these people and sold the stuff and got cash. So I had a couple $100 cash, and I just stuck it away, and kept forgetting. I was like, I need to take this to the bank and deposit it, and so I pulled into the bank the other day. I'd already filled out a deposit slip. Went in the bank. There's like 4 people in front of me. Apparently, everybody that was in front of me thought that the person working was, they could just come in and check their balance and have them print shit out for them. And I had gone to the grocery store prior. Now, I didn't buy like full on groceries, but I bought a bunch of stuff, and I left there and ran to the bank because it was down the street from the grocery store. It took me less time at the grocery store to get like $60 worth of groceries than it did to deposit a couple $100 at the bank. I had one cashier open and then the drive-through lady. That was it. And I don't know. I guess everybody, like, I hadn't been in a bank in years because I don't deal with cash anymore. I only deal with Bitcoin. I don't even know what the fuck Bitcoin is really. But yeah, apparently just nobody hires anybody, and then all the customers just have to fucking stand around and waste their whole fucking day in line. Now the cashier or the teller was very nice and apologetic about the wait, but still, 30 minutes to deposit money into my account is a little bit ridiculous. Now, if I get a check, I can just take a picture of it with an app and deposit it. But now cash money, I can't do that. Last thing is our hot water heater is fucking going. That's why I haven't shaved. Barely got a shower in yesterday, and I was scared to even try it today. But I made it through. But it was a haul ass motherfucking shower. Like as fast as I could and out. So, and of course it happens on a Friday. So who knows when somebody's going to be out here. So we can't run our dishwasher because I guarantee there's not going to be enough hot water to run the dishwasher. And you're going to be afraid every time you get in the shower until they come out and fix it. Because nothing like being all soaped up and shit, and then the water just fucking goes ice cold. But anyways, I got through this one. I'm posting this one regardless. Irregardless, as my wife would say. No, she hates that word, but it's not even actually a word. Look it up. Irregardless is not a word. But regardless of how much of an asshole I came off as in this podcast, it's getting posted. So I'm getting back in track, and let's do more in 2024. It's my new slogan. Let's do more in 2024. Do more of what? I don't know. But anyways, thanks for listening. I am the Kid, and we'll catch you next time.